My name is CECIL Laird, and about 5.5 years ago, I started a channel on YouTube called The Horror Show Channel. It was meant to be an all-encompassing horror variety show that still runs to this day, putting up about one episode every single day. Outside of that, I've made a number of short films, and this is just the biggest and best amongst them. We actually made one previous fan film kind of before all of the new wave of fan films began. Back in 2015 is when we shot it and put it out in 2016, but it is an American Vampire fan film. American Vampire, if you didn't know, is a comic book that was created by Scott Snyder and Stephen King about an Old West vampire, the first one in America. And we decided to make that film. It came out really well off of a teeny tiny budget. So I think it's time for us to move on to something bigger and better. Honestly, when it came to deciding to do a Freddy fan film, at that point, fan films had really gained a lot more traction within the horror community. Vince DiSanti made Never Hike Alone, that dropped in 2017, and then Rene Rivas dropped The Spirit of Haddonfield in 2018, and they kind of set a brand new bar for fan films to achieve in the horror genre. Obviously, Star Wars has been getting fan films for a long time, but within the horror genre, they really sort of led the way in making it Hollywood level. So I saw those and I'm like, we should maybe do another fan film now. And the only one that there was two franchises that I would be interested in doing it for. Chucky, but I don't want to do the puppeteering and dolls and all that stuff that's super expensive and technically, hard to master, and I have no idea how to do it. But Freddy is my overall favorite slasher. And it just so happens that Wes Craven's New Nightmare is my second favorite in the entire franchise. And it was the most ripe for coming back and re-engaging the audience with this continuity that we all have loved for so many years, 25 at this point. I came up with the idea for Dylan's New Nightmare when I was just sort of scouring the movies, trying to decide where in the continuity I wanted to place the film. It would be fun to deal with the Dream Warriors, because that's always been my favorite. It would be fun to go back to any of them, really, but Wes Craven's New Nightmare has always held a particular place in my heart. It's actually the only horror movie that my dad ever went with me to go see, so I've just always had a particular affinity for it. I love the meta-ness. I mean, it was Wes's toe dipping into the meta pool before launching Scream full scale and changing the horror genre again. And it resonates with me so much. I loved the performance of both Heather and Miko in the original film, and I just figured if I'm gonna do it, let me play in this pool. Halloween 2018 was on the horizon. Jamie Lee Curtis was coming back, and I'm like, if there's a way to do this, I think this is the best way to do it. Let's bring Dylan back, and we'll see what he's up to now 25 years later, with Freddy having been hibernating in his head for the whole time. Things progressed in a very interesting way, but it is quite a long story, so I'm actually putting together a separate series of videos that'll be on our channel that are going to vlog everything along the way. I'm going to tell the entire story from start to finish. However, the long and short of it is, I saw that we were going to be going to Mad Monster Charlotte in 2019 in February, and I happened to notice that Miko was going to be at Mad Monster Charlotte in February as well. So I went, and we happened to be the official press for Mad Monster, so we did an interview with him, and I slipped in a question asking if he'd be interested in doing a fan film. He said he would at least read the script, and so I didn't even indicate that I was the one necessarily doing it, but nonetheless, he indicated a positive response. So months later, when I found out he was actually going to be coming to our local Mad Monster convention, I said to myself, well, I need to go ahead and write the script. I did, I gave it to him, he liked it, and everything just snowballed from there. As far as making a mark on the franchise, I want to make sure that everything that we do is 100% respectful to not only the franchise, but to Wes Craven himself. He's such a maestro in the filmmaking and especially horror genre, and I would never want to do anything that would make him not proud from wherever he is. So I want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to make it as high quality as it possibly can be. And with the people that I've managed to wrangle up and get involved, I think that there's no way that it can't be of that level. I have the utmost confidence in everyone that has become part of the cast and crew already. Of course, there is definitely something that I'm very excited to work on, but I can't say what it is, but it might involve this beautiful looking piece right here that happened to be made exclusively for Dylan's New Nightmare by Mark Phillips of Nightmares Unlimited. So it involves the glove, I'll say that much. I'm trying to approach it as a very open-minded independent filmmaker. I've brought on people that know what they're doing, that have been doing it longer than me in the fan film world, and better than we did it on Sweet for sure. So I would be a fool to not be an open-minded director and listen to ideas and take them on and process them and see about incorporating them as long as it's making the final product better. And bringing in Miko obviously is a huge boon for the project, because I know that being able to work with him as a director, I'm going to learn a lot, and he has so much insight to provide me from what he learns with working with numerous directors over the years, and specifically Wes. So I think all of that, utilizing the people around me that I've assembled, is going to be the difference and the mark that I can make with my direction. The original New Nightmare, as I mentioned briefly earlier, is my second favorite in the franchise. I love the meta-ness, I love the acting, the effects are fantastic. We get to see Wes himself, we get to see an outstanding world that he has now evolved into being partially in our world. We get to see Robert sort of, not being Freddy, but also being Freddy. It just was such a fantastic turn for a franchise, in an era where it was, what's the next Jason movie where he can slash people up at the time? What's the next, Michael Myers movie with a thorn mark that we can crap out, That's not the same when Wes Craven's New Nightmare came out. It evolved the franchise, and I absolutely love it for that reason, amongst many others. I think now is the perfect time for Freddy to make a comeback for a number of reasons. One, all of those franchises are being brought back into the spotlight on the regular at this point. We had Halloween in 2018, we've got 2 sequels to that coming in 2020 and 2021 respectively. We've got Vince redefining, what Friday the 13th can be with his Never Hike Alone series over on YouTube. That has gained massive popularity too. And then they recently did a new Leprechaun movie. They have done a new Critters movie. All of these franchises that I grew up loving are coming back. And Freddy, unfortunately, is left under the shadow of the 2010 remake, and it's just a bummer. Before that, it was Freddy vs. Jason, but we haven't gotten an actual installment of the Nightmare franchise proper since 1994, 25 years. So it's absolutely time for Freddy to come back. There's all kinds of new stuff that he can have fun with in dreams, can mess with people in their social media. There's so much fun that could be had with Freddy coming back, and I think that Dylan's New Nightmare is the vehicle for him to do so. For anyone that is waffling on whether or not you want to contribute to the campaign, I would highly recommend clicking on some of the links, the hyperlinks in the campaign below. You'll be able to watch Never Hike Alone from Vince, The Spirit of Haddonfield from Renee. You'll see the talent involved in Miko, Dave, and Nora Hewitt. Just look at the talent that I've assembled for this project and look at the story. Check out some of the cool videos that we have up here at the top for you. If you even throw us $5, we greatly appreciate it. It's a ton of help. I think you're gonna wanna be a part of this. Check out those perks, they're nuts.